get to 500,000 followers on each and every one of my social media pages. These people are not playing. They mask it with jokes. They mask it as we're trying to get under the skin of the libs. But these people are not playing. A few weeks ago, I shared a video from Steve Bannon, who was doing an interview with Chris Cuomo, and they were talking about Donald Trump's possible third term. Here's a refresher.
I'm a firm believer that President Trump will run and win again in 2028. So I've already endorsed President Trump. A man like this comes along once every century. If we're lucky, we've got him now. He's on fire, and I'm a huge supporter. I want to see him again in 2028.
And obviously, anybody who doesn't like what you say but judges it as a function of a lack of intelligence doesn't know anything about you. I don't make that mistake. You're a smart guy. Oh, you know he's term limited. How do you think he gets another term?
We're working on it. I think we'll have a couple of alternatives. Let's say that. We'll see. We'll see what the definition. We'll see what the definition of term limit is.
All right. Well, so you're talking about litigating this issue because I don't want people to listen to our interview and say Bannon's cooking up an insurrection. Bannon is cooking up. You know what I mean? I want people to get a straight take on where your head is. What do you suggest,
Chris? As you know, I've had greater long shots than this. When we supported President Trump after the election, I realize you don't believe the election in 2020 is stolen. We do. We fervently believe that. When President Trump went back to Mar-a-Lago on January 20th, 2021, he was the longest of long shots to return to the White House. We said that day in our podcast and doubled down having President Trump's back, that he was coming back not just to win the primary, he would win the White House, and we had to get organized and drive that victory and also start working on all the policies. What's called Project 2025 or the America First Policy Institute, but all those different think tanks that started putting in the policies that you're seeing today in what we call Flood the Zone or Days of Thunder or however you want to describe it. But this is many years in the making. So we've had greater long shots than Trump 2028, and we've got a lot of stuff we're working on there. We're not prepared to talk about it publicly, but in a couple of months.
Oh, he's crazy. That'll never happen. That's against the law. It's against the Constitution. These people are not playing. That man is crazy, but that man is smart. That man is devious. That man is insidious. That man is calculating, shrewd, sneaky, underhanded. And that man has been studying politics and how to get over for this new world order for decades. And that man, again, talked about Donald Trump's third term on Bill Maher's show a day or so ago. Here's the conversation.
I brought a copy tonight. Here it is. The Constitution. Can I read a passage to you? Amendment 22. No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. And yet you keep talking about Trump's third. Maybe you should have this.
I'll get you to sign it backstage and I'm like, look, President Trump didn't bring up running for a third term. Myself and others brought up running for a third term. President Trump is going to run for a third term, and President Trump is going to be elected again on the afternoon of January 20th of 2029. He's going to be president of the United States.
Okay, but the thing I just read in there, it seemed like there was no wiggle room there. It seemed like it was just, 8 or 10 words that said only 2 times.
We have a team of people that
A team. How can a team do something about that? What? I don't care if the team is 12 trillion people. The words are still the words.
Bill, every day in federal courts, right now in federal courts, there's 120 lawsuits on what President Trump's doing for his Article 2 rights on the unified executive theory. But he's chief executive, he's commander-in-chief, and he's chief magistrate and chief law enforcement officer. There's 100, and they're running to court every day. But to sue President Trump, all because the interpretation of this, is open for
How
interpretation.
should it be open? And could I have it back? I'm sorry, no person. You would agree he's a person. Okay, shall be elected. He was elected to the office. That's the office of the president more than twice. Twice is once and then another time.
When I first saw the clip, I thought it was funny too. And then you rewatch it and you see how serious Steve Bannon is. They're not playing. Months ago, when Donald Trump first back when Donald Trump took the oath of office and he immediately got to work to removing the United States Constitution from the White House website, I told you guys, go out and purchase yourself a copy of the United States Constitution. I told you to get a copy of the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence, right? Did you all do that? Let's read what the 22nd Amendment states, okay? The 22nd Amendment of the United States Constitution reads, no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than once. But this article shall not apply to any person holding the office of president when this article was proposed by the Congress, and shall not prevent any person who may be holding the office of president or acting as president during the term within which this article becomes operative from holding the office of president or acting as president during the remainder of such term. When Steve Bannon says it is open to interpretation, he ain't lying. He said they have been working on it. That means they've been studying that and figuring out different ways of how they can come out the winner on top.
I'll stop it there, folks. Good night. I'll give you this message here, folks. That I might have saw this before. No, I saw her this. She did a video. I saw that she did the other. She said about the other video. I think I saw that before. This one is recently. And yeah, you talk about the Constitution and the second part, and she said they're gonna working on it. They're working on the second part of that. I mean, they're gonna figure out some way. Definitely the first part, what she's saying, that 2 years and that's it. It says in the Constitution. So it's going to be a wiggle room, the second part of it. The other part of what it says, they're going to try and wiggle around that. That's an interpretation there. The second part. I mean, but it's late, but I'm making this. What I'm about to say is making a prediction, folks. And people saying this before. I think it's a Simpsons prediction or no. Somebody made a prediction. And there was some kind of conspiracy theory too that a time traveler came back and made a prediction. Here it is. Donald Trump will be the last president of the United States of America. Last elected president. And he's not going to leave, folks. I said he's last elected. If If he's president this time, folks, next time if he's president, it'll be illegal. And there she's saying that they think they have she's saying that they're working on it, they have lawyers, this and that. I think he's just saying that. I think they're just gonna take over the government. They're gonna ignore the Constitution. This is a constitutional crisis we have. Already they have ignored court orders. I mean, even Mr. Bannon himself, subpoenas, he ignored them. He didn't. They subpoenaed him to go into for the hearings, and he ignored them. I mean, they'll just ignore it, folks. By then, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe civil war. Could be a civil war, or this could be. By then, I think he'll declare martial law. By then, folks. He might do it now. That is another video we're going to make about that. He's just going to ignore the Constitution, that's all. I don't think he's going to. They're saying he's just bullshitter. Bullshit. They might try and do that if they figure out a way to stay in legally. We're going to go to the Supreme Court. Even the Supreme Court's not going to overturn it. Because it says there 2 years, that's it. Somehow. But maybe they're going to say that. They already said that because it's not 2 consecutive years. Because that's why they're saying. Oh, maybe that's what they think. Somebody mentioned that. Because the Constitution doesn't say it 2 consecutive years. But it doesn't mention that. It says 2 years. It doesn't say 2 consecutive years. The Constitution doesn't say that. It just says 2 years. I mean, no matter what. So it doesn't say consecutive years. And they're trying to figure out the way that Obama doesn't come in. Obama went 2 years. So he could run again too. But the Supreme Court's not going to overturn that. Because instead of president for another president, Democrat president to do that, that's what you're going to do. I mean, I'm going to say Biden. No, Biden 1 year. So I'm looking at another president that could run. Clinton, he's too old. He could probably run again if that's the case. If they overturn it, they could say that, yeah. If it goes to the Supreme Court and they say, yeah, they could overturn that, overturn the Constitution. Yeah, somebody like Clinton could run again. Even though he's old. Very old. I mean, or Obama, definitely. But no. This is, these guys mean what they say, folks. I think it's gonna be a civil war, definitely. And these guys are maniacs. They could do everything. And they have the nuclear codes, too. They say Trump has the nuclear codes. I think they would definitely they use the nuclear option against the American people. Believe it or not. Eventually they will. Like they will use it against a big city like a blue state. They will use be a nuclear attack. They would use that. These people are that vicious. Against a black city, so like Atlanta or something. They'll do that, folks. I'm thinking kind of a there's been movies of this, TV shows. Even
the winner being Donald Trump with a 3rd term. When Steve Bannon says that Donald Trump has never talked about this publicly, running for a 3rd.
But yeah, folks, I'll let it go on, but I'm going to sum it up. Yeah, there've been movies, TV shows of kind of predicting this, predictive programming. Like even the movie, the TV show, the world is not enough, produced by Mr. Obama, and there was somebody launched a nuclear attack on the city. In the end, that's what happened. That's why you see all this dystopian thing. And there's no power went out, and there's martial law, and there's a cyber attack, actually. And what it is was somebody launched a nuclear attack on America. Somebody in the government. They launched missiles on a city, in a big city, I think. They launched a cyber attack, and then they launched a nuclear attack. That kind of predictive programming there, folks. And that could a scary thought. These guys would do that. They launch a nuclear attack on their own cities. It's possible. These guys are crazy. To keep the power. I mean, anyways, folks, that's all I'm gonna say. That Trump is these guys, these people, wicked people, crystal fascists, devil people. These guys are devils. They're gonna launch. They're gonna take over America. A coup. Dictatorship, essentially. If they lose, well, they will lose. If he tries to run again, it'll be like a takeover. You can't do it fair and square, J.D. Vance, they didn't want to do that. They want Trump to get in. I know that and this time they're not going to win. I think that's why they know they want to do this. Like American people are not going to be fooled again. Fool me 3 times. They're not going to be fooled 3 times. So they're going to definitely stay in. They're going to rig it to stay in. But they're not, or if they lose, well, they're just going to take over. There won't be any election. Eventually they just take over. Definitely the takeover. If they lose fair and square, I think this time they won't even leave. He won't leave this time. First of all, if he does, and if he just stay in power, and there's nobody who's gonna come and get him. That's to be a big thing. With the U.S. Army get him, the military take him out of office. They should. Well, we'll see. Maybe there's gonna be a civil war then, folks. Either way, if they lose, if there's an election, if they lose, if he doesn't run, okay, so he steps down. He's too old. He's sick or whatever. J.D. Vance. Would they give up and they lose the election? Would they give up? This guy's not gonna lose. It won't be a legit. Not my word. He's gonna be the last elected president. Because the next president will be a Republican, and they will just rig the election or stay in. They'll just stay in power. Maybe there won't be any elections. He just stay in power eventually. That's what probably happen. Because they realize that he's not gonna stay. He can't change the Constitution unless they ignore it. So they won't have elections. If they ignore they won't actually have any elections, folks. We just say, I'm gonna stay in power. I'm gonna declare martial law on these leftists. I'm gonna save America from these leftists, these communists. Now they'll stay in power. And we know, we'll just cancel the election. That's it. total fascist. So he's a bit. So this guy's gonna be. So America. He's gonna be the last president. You guys gonna. This is your last president of the United States. So I'm not gonna go any further. That's it. This is. She has more clips. Let me see.
Third term, it's only them that have talked about it. That's a lie. Donald Trump has talked about this publicly. But you see what Donald Trump does, he talks about it publicly with humor, like Bill Maher talked about it publicly with humor in that clip. He talks about it as if he's just using it to get under the skin of the people on the left, of Democrats. He talks about it as if he's just driving news media. He's running.
I can't run again. That's the expression. Sure. Then somebody said, I don't think you can. Oh.
Hold on, there's more.
Any Republican president ever. Almost 40% of the vote. Now, I won't be happy the next time. Should I run again? You tell me. There's your controversy right there. There's your You'll be seeing that. You're gonna see that tonight, Tim, on television.
But wait, there's one more.
Really rocking. We're looking good. We're looking good for another 4 years, and then we got. Reporters and I say we're looking good for another 4 years, and then if we want to another 4, maybe another 5. And they are just watching up Bill Maher. He goes and looks at somebody and he goes, you know he's going to win, don't you? To some idiot. And he's interviewing him. He says, you know he's going to win. No, I think you know he's going to win. And you know he's not leaving, don't you? The guy's going, what do you mean? He's not leaving. He's not leaving yet. And I thought it was him. He's been serious. So, did anybody ever see the Time magazine where we have it 2020, 2024, 2028, 2030? In other words, we do that to drive them freaking.
So you see, when they talk about it publicly, they talk about it as if it's the ramblings of a madman. It's wrapped up in comedy. It's wrapped up and we're just antagonizing the left, we're antagonizing the libs. All the while, they're continuously talking about it, trying to get people used to hearing it, which makes it more acceptable to violate the United States Constitution, where they now say it's just open to interpretation.
Well, that's it, folks. What do you think about that? Thank you, Tabitha, for the reminder. These guys are serious. I think this. Oh no, man! This is the end, folks. This is the end of America and the world as we know it. You're right. There's kind of an order. This new world order, and it's shaped it into something that I don't know. I can't figure it out. I thought we were already in the new world order, but no, this is just the beginning of the new world order. This is the new world order coming up, and God knows what's gonna happen. Maybe we do know. We do know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be a total chaos, and maybe the end. In the biblical times, the Bible. The Bible's right, folks. Wow. This guy is. They're gonna end the democracy of America, and America becomes oh, the world's in trouble, folks. I'll tell you right now. America goes down, the world's in trouble. trouble with America's trouble right now, but it's gonna be war. It's gonna be a lot more trouble, and it's gonna be a fast, maybe the end of everything. It might be nuclear attack. I'm saying it might be nuclear attack this year, but I'm trying to think of it. It makes more sense. It might be the next 4 years or 2 years, whatever. The next election after that, there might be nuclear attack, and there's gonna be nuclear war. I mean, there's gonna be a new world war. Sorry, because they're planning to attack China. Maybe after the election, and then it's gonna be a nuclear attack. But it might be nuclear attack before that. They might attack their own people. It'll be like a civil war before the nuclear war, before that world war. Believe it or not, folks, that's possible. I'm just speculating all this stuff. Now that I'm thinking about, I don't know what he's saying. Makes more sense. There'll be attack after he gets elected. It'll be like a world war. He's gonna start a world war. He's gonna do a civil war, and he's gonna do a world war. That's my prediction. And it will be nuclear attack on America, his own people, or maybe not him, the other people who started. Like somebody will launch it. I don't know. Be like a rogue general or somebody, or defend somebody in the. No, he has a nuclear code. It has to be. Because they can't launch it without. From the commander in chief, without I think the thing, the get-go from the commander in chief, they can't launch the attack. Maybe I think. But I don't know. Somehow there's gonna be it's gonna be something happening around that time. I could be wrong. It could be a nuclear incident now. Who knows? But my dream says, and my dream saying that there's a nuclear attack or incident in the next 3 to 5 years. That's my dream says. I could be right. Anyways, folks, I'm going to end this. What do you think about this? He's going to be the president again. Or somebody's going to be in the Republican Party. And they're not going to win. They're not going to be elected. Put it that way. So he's going to be this Trump 2024 elected president, which is Trump. He's going to be the last elected president of the United States. What do you think about that? I'm out.